Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Jackie Van Ham, your girl in the know for all things motorcycle. Welcome to today's show, your Fun Fact Friday. It's been a hot minute since we've done a Fun Fact Friday show, right? So I figured I'd open up the camera and we would go ahead and chat about something interesting, something historical, something that hopefully you love or are going to learn to love on today's show as much as I do. And today's show is going to be a little bit about the history of the Springfield Mile. The Springfield Mile is this weekend in Springfield, Illinois, and it's part of an entire huge weekend of all sorts of kick-ass racing that happens right in the middle of Illinois. There's 4 or 5 different races going on over the course of this weekend. So there's no reason if you are in the Midwest part of America that you are not headed there. My good excuse is that I am on a top secret wiener dog mission, and I will be out of town for the next couple of days, and you will find out more about that next week when I get home. So today's show, Fun Fact Friday program, is about the Springfield Mile. As always, I can see your comments. Feel free to peek in and say hello. Thank you to all of our top fans. Welcome back. Welcome back, Jeremy, one of our regular viewers here on the program. So let's get down to it. So the Springfield Mile, which bills itself as the world's fastest mile, let's talk a little bit about its background at the Illinois State Fairgrounds Racetrack. Illinois State Fairgrounds Racetrack is a 1-mile-long clay oval motor racetrack on the Illinois State Fairgrounds in Springfield, the state capital. Constructed in the late 19th century and reconstructed in 1927, the Springfield Mile, as it is known, has hosted competitive auto racing since 1910, making it one of the oldest speedways in the United States. It is the oldest track to continually host national championship dirt track racing, holding its first national championship race in 1934 under the American Automobile Association banner. It is the home of 5 world records for automobile racing, making it one of the fastest dirt tracks in the world. Since 1993, the venue is managed by Bob Sargent's Track Enterprises. The Illinois State Fair Mile currently hosts the Alan Crow Memorial 100 ARCA Stock Car Race, USAC Silver Crown Championship Dirt Cars, UMP Late Models and Modifieds, and the AMA Grand National Championship, which is what we're talking about today, which is also known as the American Flat Track or AFT Series. Billy Wynn won the first national championship dirt track race held at the Illinois State Fairgrounds in 1934. A.J. Foyt ran his first national championship race there in August of 1957. The track is host to 2 of the older memorial events in the United States, the Bettenhausen 100 for the USAC Dirt Championship Cars, first run in 1961, and the Alan Crow Memorial 100 Stock Car event for USAC, now ARCA, Stock Cars, first held in 1963. Both races are now held on the last weekend of the Illinois State Fair. Chuck Gurney is the only 7-time winner of the Bettenhouse 100, while ARCA driver Frank Kimmel won the Alan Crow Memorial for the 7th time in 2008. From 1946 to 1953, the AMA Grand National Champion was crowned based solely on the results of the Springfield Mile held at the Fairground Racetrack. Now, this is why this is really, really interesting because, of course, all the championship points are all tallied up over the course of the entire series, over the course of the entire season. And for a long period there, in order to win Grand National Championship status, you had to be the top dog at all different types of motorcycle racing, all the different disciplines, road and dirt. Now it's gone back to just the king of the dirt is the king of the dirt and road racing is separate, and they're 2 separate things. It's been that way since the 1980s. But for a hot second there, the Springfield Mile, the winner was the winner, like winner take all. So needless to say, the Springfield Mile absolutely sealed its own legend when that became law, when that became policy for the AMA. Now let's go look a little bit at their website. The Harley-Davidson Springfield Mile ran its first AMA National in 1937. From 1946 to 1953, the championship was determined by winning this one race, which we just talked about. This is how Springfield became so legendary and so prestigious. The race ran annually from 1946 to 1966 during the Illinois State Fair. Unfortunately, the city of Springfield said the event was no longer welcome because of some trouble caused by some unruly fans. In 1981, the Illinois Motorcycle Dealers Association, known as IMDA, convinced the city to let the race return, and it went so well that it returned as a national in 1982. It was their foresight and unrelenting determination that made the Springfield Mile possible. The IMDA members volunteered their time and efforts to build this racetrack back to the quality event it is today. They quickly developed it into the semi-annual holiday weekend tradition that comes every Memorial Day and Labor Day. They added the new TT and short track races to the weekends in the new arena next door where track previously didn't exist. Today, the city welcomes the motorcycle enthusiasts and appreciates the business they bring with them. Now, this article was a little bit out of date, but what's going on now, the past several years, because rain and weather has been so catastrophic and so poopy in the springtime, they have now, for the past two years in a row, I think, they've just pushed the entire thing and made it be a doubleheader weekend on the Labor Day holiday. This year, COVID stepped in and COVID put the kibosh on any spring racing. So now it's like, I mean, are they just going to make this forever be a doubleheader weekend on Labor Day? I'm not hating it because it's like six races, six kick-ass races in one weekend up in Illinois. And the weather is usually quite a bit nicer in September than it usually has a chance of being in May. So anyway, so that one's a little bit wrong. This weekend is the Springfield Mile. It is a doubleheader for the mile event, and then they're running a short track race tonight. The short track race is tonight. That is when the single classes run. There also is a little bit of regional racing going on. There is just a little bit of everything going on. Go click over to my Jackie Van Ham page. On my Wednesday show, I talked a little bit more in depth about some of the racing that's happening in Springfield and all around the planet on Wednesday's show. So go check out that program. Now, the slide that's up on the screen is showing you some of the Indian motorcycle race legends. These are some of the original wrecking crew for Indian motorcycle. Riders line up for the big one, the Springfield Mile. Hill and Tuman finished first and second. This is sourced from Indian Motorcycle Archives. Just a beautiful shot of the grandstands there at the Springfield Mile. This is just such an iconic, legendary track. Whenever you see those huge grandstands, there's only a handful of places that exists, and there's a really good chance if you're looking at a photo of Springfield, if you're looking at those huge, shady covered grandstands. Grand National Champion for 2000 and when did he win? 17 and 18, I think, back-to-back Grand National Champion. Jared Mees actually got married to his lovely wife, Nicole Mees, at the Springfield Mile. So this is a picture of their wedding day. That's them down on the track on his bike. He had the #1 plate, so this is probably 2016, maybe. I don't remember my deets for Jared Mees exactly, but anyway, he has been a multi-time Grand National Champion. He did get married at the Springfield Mile, so that's a hell of a way to easily remember your anniversary. Another iconic shot of those huge, beautiful grandstands. There's always just really incredible photos coming off of this. This track does bill itself as the fastest mile in the world, and they are not shitting you about that. It is easily 120 plus miles per hour down the front straight. There's nothing like it. If you haven't been, I strongly, strongly, strongly encourage you to go. This is a jewel in the crown of American racing, and it's just a hell of a good time, and you can get super, super close, and it just will knock your socks off. It's absolutely spectacular. The twins classes are the only bikes that run at the Springfield Mile because it is so incredibly fast, and the grids are just too large in the single class, and they're just worried about a catastrophic accident, about too many bikes going into turn 1. So anyway, the single classes do short track racing, and they're racing that tonight. So make sure you go check that out if you are going to Springfield this weekend. A great shot of one of the most winningest, or actually the most winningest, Mr. Scotty Parker is on the left with a Miller Lite hoisted high next to Brian Smith, who is the second winningest man at the Springfield Mile. Since the IMDA brought the mile back, they have hosted 68 mile national events at this legendary track. In 2015, after giving so much and looking for some rest, they partnered with Keesow Racing to take over promoting the event. Dave and Tom Keesow have worked with the IMDA for 20 years. They've worked passionately to keep this race going and plan to continue the tradition for many years to come, and they are aces, very, very decent, upstanding human beings. I've met them personally. They're really great. The rider with the most wins at the Springfield Mile is the legendary Scott Parker. He won it 14 times, including when he came back after retirement in 2000 just to run this one race. Chris Carr is close behind him. Sorry, I said Brian Smith. Chris Carr is close behind him with 12 wins. Brian Smith, the current racer with the most wins, has 6, so he has a few years to go to have a chance to break those records. And just to show you a little bit of how special and important the Springfield Mile is, this is the absolutely legendary Godspeed, rest in peace to some of these folks out here. And also this is going to be Mr. Willie G signing his hat. And that is Mr. Barry Boone, legendary announcer, super great human being. Unfortunately, he passed away a couple of seasons ago. Just a really, really great guy and one of my good friends, which is why I just happened to be standing there and got that photo of him having Willie G of Willie G Harley-Davidson signing his hat for him at that race. Everybody there is a genuine fan. Everybody there loves the sport and loves motorcycles, and even somebody who was as legendary and iconic as Barry Boone was even willing to hit him up for an autograph, and I thought that was really special, so I made sure to grab that photo. But that's just a little bit of details about what goes on at the Springfield Mile. What did you guys think about that? A little bit of history for you on this Fun Fact Friday. Don't forget, Springfield Mile, as I've said 500 times during this show, is this weekend. There also is a great event going on in Colorado if you are out west, called the Four Corners Rally in Durango, Colorado, so make sure you go check that out. There's some more racing and kick-ass stuff going on. Check out Wednesday's show and go look for it over on my page or down thread here at Choppertown. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Have a lovely holiday weekend here in the United States to each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next week. I will be gone through Thursday, so I will probably be only back for a Friday show. So make sure you hit that notifications on button. You are not going to want to miss it. Thanks again for tuning in, everybody. Give me a follow over on the Instagrams at Jackie Van Ham and at the Jackie of All Trades. As always, thank you to my show partner, Vroom. Vroom your room. Vroom Retract Vac. TwoStrokeTees.com. We're slanging t-shirts. It's free shipping in the lower US. All Things Motorcycle Podcast. Go check it out. And of course, my Choppertown Nation. I could not do this show without each and every one of you tuning in every single week. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Have a great and lovely weekend. Ride safe, and I will see you next week.